It started with a meeting.
Dan, my name is Christian Bale. What movie have I starred in?
I'm guessing you're trying to be the Batman there, Christian Bale.
Yeah. How does he do that, actually? That perhaps that's a chat for another video. My name's Adam Cook, and Dan Naylor, you have actually played with a controller. Can I ask what kind of controller it was?
It was a DualShock 4 on the PlayStation 4.
Goodness me, PlayStation 4. You have played Batman Arkham Knight for a little bit of time, and you are here to talk mostly, I would imagine, about the Batmobile. Now, the reason I say that is because I have been a cynic, and although I really like Rocksteady's Batman games, the Batmobile thing worries me, and basically, you think I shouldn't be worried? Is that right?
Not at all. I was a cynic as well, and so far, I mean, I'll clarify this, I played maybe about half an hour hands-on, most of it in the Batmobile. There was a little bit of fighting on foot, but the majority of it was doing various things in Bat's favourite mode of transport. Yeah, and I don't think you should be worried. It works within the game. It makes total sense. From the first time you summon it with the press of a button, and it comes zooming around the corner within seconds. And
how quick is that? So what button do you press? Can you remember?
L1.
So you just tap L1, or do you have to hold it?
Just tap it.
And it just... A bit like in The Witcher 3, when you summon your horse, it just comes wherever you are.
Better than that. You automatically jump into it. There's no
that's cool.
fannying around waiting for it to line up in front of you to hit X to climb in. No. You just press L1, and wherever you are in the outside world, it will zoom around the corner and you'll jump in it. If you're in the air, cool. You'll just plummet straight into the ground.
Oh shit, you can do it in the air.
So
so you're gliding along in the air, and you just hit L1, and it just... Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly, and it doesn't matter how far away you've parked it. It's not like GTA where it's gonna real time to you. It's just there. It's always just kind of round the corner. It'll load and it'll just appear. It'll come zooming in, appear, screech to a halt, skid in front of you maybe, and you'll kind of leap into it as it drifts, and then you'll shoot back off the other way, kind of thing. So instantly, it's useful and it's incredibly cool, and it's not a problem. And I think you'll need it to get around this Gotham.
Well, I was going to ask you, how fast is it then?
It's faster than gliding, I would say.
It is. Okay, that was the question, because it's kind of like, I was wondering, the gliding is like, because in the first few games where you get like the grapple hook thing, and you can really zip across the city, or the environment, I suppose. But if the Batmobile was slower, it'd be kind of like but it is quicker, significantly.
Yeah, it's significantly quicker. Okay. I mean, when they kind of came up with the idea of it, they dropped it into Arkham City and just... like their builds of Arkham City, and just raced around with that, and they found the streets were a bit too narrow for it and things like this.
Yeah,
so
it wouldn't work.
Quite substantially redesigned the city. So it's got wider streets and things like that, but that hasn't taken away from the need for gliding either, which is what I was particularly worried about in the game, because I really enjoyed the gliding in the previous Batman games.
It was super.
It's very, very vertical, the city. Very, very vertical.
Explain.
So, well, there's just... it's split into 3 islands, and the island that my kind of hands-on took place on, you've got lots of kind of bridges linking things, pipes. It's all very industrial.
Yeah.
So there's plenty, and tall buildings at the side of the road. So you've got these kind of avenues that you can go down, but then your objective might be on a rooftop over there. And the best bit is they've really integrated the Batmobile into the existing controls. So like you can just jump into it at the tap of L1, you can launch yourself out of it by double tapping X, I think. And you'll keep your momentum and just keep going into a glide. So it integrates the 2 kinds of movement system really, really well.
Now, I mean, unfortunately, we don't have any B-roll that we can show you of the game. You're just going to have to take Dan's word for it. But the question I would have is it the way you're describing it, it sounds incredibly slick. Is that...
Yes.
Is that fair?
That's the word. That's the word to describe it. It's very slick, and it is in a way very stylized. I mean, it looks quite cool itself, the Batmobile, but also in how you use it, it's a lot more about the feeling of power that it gives you, like you have when you're Batman and you're this unstoppable force. So the controls are deliberately a little bit loose. It's not a pinpoint kind of racer thing. There's a drift function, an afterburner if you're not going fast enough. And there's plenty of destructible scenery on the ground, so it'll plow through bollards, fences, lampposts, even parked cars.
Is that to wit anything, or is it just to sort of create the feeling of a living world? Is it? I'm thinking like I know you probably haven't played it, but like Sunset Overdrive, for example, like if you smash stuff up, you'll get money out of vending machines. Is it just
I
stuff
think
to smash?
it's just stuff to smash.
I mean, that's what I'm not.
But
Sorry,
it
I'm not saying
adds
that's
to this
bad.
feeling of kind of just again, momentum is the thing they're really keen on is momentum. And unless you hit a building or like a concrete pillar head on, you're just going to keep going. There's no.
What happens if you do? Did you hit anything head on?
Yes, I did, because I wasn't very good. But you're instantly back in. It's very maneuverable, and it has a alternate kind of strafing function where
I've seen that because you shoot with that, right?
You shoot with that. Yeah, it's got like a cannon and a Gatling gun. I think
Batman doesn't kill, right?
No, Batman doesn't kill.
So what's the shooting?
Well,
I'm not trying to be stupid.
If you shoot goons, it kind of stuns them. I think that's the same buttons.
I mean, what are you actually shooting? I mean, what when you press fire, what's coming out of the Batmobile?
Well, it looks like a cannon and bullets. Right. But if it's a goon, they seem to get stunned.
So they're like rubber bullets, I guess. I'm probably overthinking this, Dan.
No, it could be rubber bullets.
I'm probably overthinking it, mate.
Some areas where you fight like kind of tank waves from the Arkham Knight, who's got some armored friends. I think they're robotic. I saw
the screenshots of these. These look,
yeah. I think
so
they're robotic.
Can kill them.
You can kill them, so you shoot them in your cannon and they'll blow up and things like this. But you do that in this other mode, which is strafing, and it basically, I think you hold down the left trigger and you just move in the 4 directions as where you move it on the left stick, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
And use the right stick to kind of, change the pitch kind of thing. And that works really well, but the mode is just instant. Like you hold down L2, you'll instantly pop into this other mode. Let go, you'll instantly go back down into like the car mode. And it's a little kind of very, very mini kind of transformation, but it's just instantaneous. So if you do hit a building head on, you need to change direction. You just tap that, swing, like flick yourself around, and you off again.
Well, all of this, as again that word slick, but the question this sort of roommate. How much time does this all take? Like, are the transitions like when you hit L1 to pull it up to you, when you press X to jump out of it, all these transitions, are they really quick?
They're basically immediate. There's no delay. And I think again I think Rocksteady have been worried that how people are going to react to the Batmobile, because it did get a lot of negative press, and I was one of them, and I know yourself as a cynic.
Yeah.
I think as soon as you get your hands on with it, you realise this actually is a cool thing.
You sound excited, mate. I'll be honest. You sound quite excited talking about this.
I wasn't bothered about any Batman game at all. I didn't play Origins, to be fair, but I loved Asylum and City. I basically platinumed Asylum. I think just a couple of challenges put me off actually doing that. So I was massive into the Batman games. But this has got me excited again, because I always think, it's going to be more of the same. With the Batmobile, it's not. It's actually going to be you can tell it's going to be a key part of
I was going to say, does it feel like it will be a large part of the game?
I think so. So there's missions where you use it to solve a puzzle, and you've got you've got to rev it in a certain rate to power up something that it's connected to with a cable. That sounds crap. It makes sense in the game. It's actually quite hard to do. And other bits, you'll chase Firefly through the streets while he's burning stuff down. There's the new Riddler racetracks, which are changing circuits of like a demented racecourse.
So do they take place kind of off somewhere?
Well, the one I played was it was underground. It's in like the old sewers and water tunnels. And
so do you just drive to it and it's there and like a mission? I'm thinking you drive up to mission starters in GTA or something, or are they
almost? It was basically in a lift, and it takes you down into
the Batmobile.
Yeah, in the Batmobile, it's like a big kind of industrial freight lift
thing.
And drops you down, and it takes you down. And that probably is a disguised loading screen. But it is done quite well, because you get this projection of the Riddler on the wall opposite you, trying to talk, basically talking to you and stuff, and goading you into, doing his racetrack and things. So it's quite slick. I mean, elsewhere, again, that word slick keeps coming back up. I didn't really see any loading times when I was playing this. You go straight from outdoor bits into indoor missions, and there was just nothing in between it.
Seamless again, slick and seamless. Those are the buzzwords. I mean, I feel I have to ask this because it's the first Batman game that is new gen only, and everyone's always interested about this stuff. Now, again, the video that people are seeing here is not from what we played. It's just something to look at while we're talking, essentially. Does it look good? Does it look new gen? Because it looks. I mean, the footage I've seen. Again, I've not played it. You have. The footage I've seen looks phenomenal.
It looks. It does look really good. It does. It's probably not the best thing on new gen. Yeah.
No, but you're always going to get the best looking games when they're exclusives, aren't they? You know, it's going to be the Order 1886 designed for one. Although saying that,
I think it's, as far as I know, it's still running on an old version of Unreal 3.
Interesting.
So, considering that, it looks fantastic. I think some of the still images that they've got look better than what I played.
Bullshotty, aren't they? But they're always that's the way games work.
It still looks fantastic. I mean, admittedly, in the 30 minutes hands-on I had, I was trying to master the controls and doing various bits and pieces. I mean, you know, Batman looks as detailed as ever. Faces look really detailed, actually.
Cool, that's good.
As they always have in the Rocksteady games. But yeah, I mean, it's going to look good. Yeah, like you say, it's not going to be on par with like an exclusive.
It is coming to PC though, right? I'm sure it is.
I think so. I was wondering that. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe the images and trailers we've seen so far are from the PC version. I could see that.
Well, before we call it quits, I do have to ask one thing, and I think it's a really important question, because the thing that made, I think, Batman games so popular, and rightly so, is that they brought in this, what we all now call Batman Arkham Combat, which has been emulated so many places. I mean, even Warner themselves used that combat style in Shadow of Mordor, which is another excellent game. I appreciate you only played it for half an hour or so, but of the combat you experienced, does it still feel good? Does it feel tight as it used to?
It still feels tight. It still feels incredibly weighty. What they've done is they've been able, because of the new hardware, they've been able to put a lot more enemies on screen, but the way the combat works, you don't feel overwhelmed. It's quite good at crowd management.
So hang on, what if you're in combat and you hit L1?
If I reckon you would. I don't really know. I didn't test it thoroughly. The Batmobile will definitely come. I don't know whether you'll jump into it. But one cool thing is, if you approach a crowd of goons that are waiting outside an objective kind of mission start point, it doesn't. They'll run off at the sight of the Batmobile. They'll get scared by it and run off.
Cool.
So you don't need to. And some of them maybe will be brave enough to stay around. They'll maybe try and punch the Batmobile or something, and it'll stun them, and they'll get knocked out instantly. And other ones will maybe hang nearby, but if you then jump out and leap into a fight with them, what happens is the Batmobile kind of helps you out in combat. It like automatically kind of can aim at guys and maybe knock out a goon and things like this. And it's just a cool piece of, you know, it's a menacing presence in the distance, but if they are brave enough to fight you, it'll also help out as well.
You know, I've just realised we didn't even talk about that dual. What's the mode called again?
The dual play.
Should we briefly?
Dual play. Yeah, we can briefly touch on it.
So I didn't even know about this because I don't mean to sound harsh, but I kind of hadn't been interested because after Origins, I just felt like this is done, and I'm now very excited. But so what's dual play and does it work and is it any good so far?
So occasionally, Batman will team up with an ally on a mission. So the one I saw, we're taking out a penguin cache, which is he's hidden some weapons around the city, and basically Nightwing's going around finding them. When he does, he calls in Batman. Batman comes and helps him take out all the baddies. So it was Batman and Nightwing in this fight, maybe 30-35 guys, I'd say. We were against, and basically at the tap of L1 you can switch between characters. So tap L1 and you'll start playing as Nightwing, but Batman on the other side of the room will just keep going and keep fighting on his own. Like the air will help you out, and he handled it a little bit differently, kind of like he did in Arkham City. He was in that, wasn't he? In some DLC, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
A lot like that, and I think Catwoman and Robin, I think, are also named allies for now. There might be more. I'm not sure.
So there's potential for some tactical stuff.
Well,
here,
a little bit. It's more cool rather than anything else, because you are pressing kind of the same buttons to do the same sort of moves.
Yeah, but I mean, if they've got different things they can do, like Catwoman's whip or whatever, there might be some enemies that are vulnerable to certain things. It could. Perhaps, I'm not saying it is. I'm totally guessing that there could be some tactical
I wouldn't
stuff.
Be surprised if there was something like that. But there's also, if you switch at certain times when the prompt appears on screen, you do dual takedowns. So it'll kind of go a bit slow motion and zoom from you. So you'll be Nightwing. It'll cut to the front of you as Nightwing doing a punch. You'll punch the guy into the air, and then Batman will kind of rugby tackle him across the room or something like that. And then you'll just instantly switch to Batman from his perspective, all in one camera shot.
That sounds amazing, and to be honest with you, I don't think I've ever heard you so enthusiastic or excited about a game when you've done one of these videos. And it's rubbed off because everything you said has made me think, do you know what? I am going to really want to play this as soon as possible. Dan, people can read your stuff about Batman. We've got a host of articles over on godisageek.com. They can follow you on Twitter at MacShanks, and they should do all those things. Dan, thank you for your time.
Anytime, anything for you, Adam.
Make sure you like this video, subscribe, leave a comment. In fact, if you've got any questions, leave them in the video comments perhaps, and Dan can try and answer them. But bear in mind, again, we didn't play hours and hours, we only played what was available. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.